Good.
Hey everyone, welcome back to The Moment Live. It's your pal Meredith Lynch. I'm joined as always by my friend, partner in crime, Rebecca Sananès. We are not in the studio today. We are still doing this bad show remotely, but we will be back in studio on Tuesday, and I can't wait to be back, Rebecca. Have you missed seeing me this week?
So much. I told you, I had a dream this week that we actually did commit a crime together.
Nice.
Yes.
White collar?
No, I won't say what we did because, like it's, but we were Thelma and Louising this shit is what I'm trying to say.
Thought crimes, if you will.
Thought crimes, exactly. Which is, I feel like, one of the things that we're going to talk about today.
Really?
I mean,
every day in a way is a thought crime. Do you remember the cop in New York City? He said he was going to cannibalize people. I think there was a documentary made about him. He said he was going to he was online dating, but I also believe he was married, which is probably the thing that upset people the most. But he had elaborate plans to cannibalize women or some of the women that he was dating. But then it turned into but he never actually did it.
Wait, is this Armie Hammer?
No.
I'm joking.
But he was, okay. I was like, I'm not that familiar with that story. I have to be honest.
I don't either. I don't either. I just know he's accused of wanting to cannibalize people.
Cannibal Cop. That's what the documentary was called. Anyway, maybe we'll do a watch party of Cannibal Cop. I think it's Julie Klausner's favorite documentary, so maybe she would join us. That could be kind of fun. Anyway, there's so much going on in the news today, and we're going to talk about it all today. What are our top stories? Well, first of all, the division in MAGA is really kicking up a notch, and it's always interesting to see how that falls when it comes to the Democrats. And some of them are suggesting that we welcome some people into the party. We're a big tent.
This is what I meant by thought crimes. This is what I was like, maybe this is a little bit about thought crimes. It's who's allowed to say what and how we let them in. So sorry, this was what I was referring to. Go ahead.
Oh, that's wild, because I thought you were referring to Lena Dunham's Famesick. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, they're all thought crimes, I guess.
Yeah. But so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Lena Dunham's Famesick and the Adam Driver allegations. And then I'm so excited. We have Representative Lauren Underwood joining us today. We can talk a little bit about Eric Swalwell, RFK Jr., Black maternal health. I got 4 DMs after I showed the pic that we had her on, being she's amazing. She does so much for women's health. So really excited to talk to her today.
People are excited. Yeah. People are excited about her. Millennial queen, no less.
I know. Okay. Doesn't it also when I see somebody like that and she's so accomplished, I'm like, oh my God, what have I been doing with my life?
Trust me. I know. In fact, I feel when we talk, there was something about the Lena Dunham of it all that makes me feel that way too, where I'm like, wow, she's 40 now. We're not in our 20s. Are you sure? That's crazy talk.
Time is a construct. Anyway, let's get into it. Trump has continued to be picking fights with the Pope, and Pete Hegseth has also gone biblical. He's been reading passages from the Bible that actually turn out to be from Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction. Great movie. I mean, in a way, biblical.
Extremely biblical, and also isn't it exactly what you think that Pete Hegseth is pumping iron watch? It is so on brand.
You know what's funny? I actually don't think of Pete Hegseth as sort of sophisticated enough to even care about a Quentin Tarantino movie.
That's fair. But I could see him having a poster on his wall,
Yeah, in college, because that's what everybody else liked or something. Totally. But I just don't see him being somebody who, has seen Pulp Fiction in the last 25 years or I don't know. But I do think what's interesting here is it kind of kicks us off to this recurring conversation that we're starting to have amongst Democrats about these cracks in MAGA that are happening. And I want to play this clip. We have this clip from Rep. Ilhan Omar, and she was on Pod Save America, and she has some ideas about Marjorie Taylor Greene. So why don't we play the clip and then we'll talk about it.
Very fascinating, especially about Marjorie and Candace, is that they are not just coming out like the other ones that you'd mentioned, where they're saying this action is wrong, right? They're saying, I am done with you. And I think that we should give them credit for that. The fact that they have gotten off the sycophant train and are saying, we trusted the wrong person. We are sorry for that, and we need all of you to wake up to the fact that you've also trusted the wrong person, I think is an important thing for us to put our arms around.
Interesting.
Hot take, yes or no?
Hot take. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm like, I want to like truly talk this out with you, because there's a part of me that's seeing Democrats start to do this thing where they're like, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Marjorie Taylor Greene, like they're starting to be like, what if we like build a coalition of the working class around this? Ro Khanna's been doing this too. And there's a part of me that's like, I don't know, like these people have like trashed our nation in so many ways, got us to the place we are, and are virulent anti-Semites in some cases. Like, do we really need them in the Democratic Party? Like, ick, ew, no thank you. And then there's the other part of me that's like, we got to win, we got to reshuffle things. And I do keep seeing, especially on TikTok, all these people being like, I voted for Trump 3 times and now I regret it. And I feel like it's the same question as like, some people are like, we don't care, go to hell. And some people are like, well, let them come back. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I guess my first thought with like, at least with Marjorie Taylor Greene, maybe not so much, is like, they're not coming back, right? Like they've never been here. I think Candace at one point might have identified as a Democrat, but I don't really like count the time like in college when somebody's like trying on different personalities.
Yeah.
But when I think about someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I guess one of the things that my mind goes to is when it actually comes down to Washington, Democrats and Republicans have to work together all the time. So, and we've seen this. We see what we view as some of the like most MAGA, disagree with so many of our viewpoints. I don't mean ours, but the leftist, liberal, whatever, working across the aisle. So I think like we also have to remember that when people like in actual congressional seats say these things, I think they're also thinking about it like that. They're like, if I can find people who will vote with me, if I can, like, that's a good thing. It's not so much like, oh my gosh, yes, come here with your awful rhetoric and all of these things. That's kind of where I see it. And so I don't know. I mean, I guess I see people say, no, they can never come back. Absolutely not, or not come back, but like they can never be a part of this. But I don't know. I kind of am like, hey, if you see the light now and you see that he is so awful, it's not about Republican and Democrat. It's about something so much different than being a Republican. Come on down. Like, let's talk about it.
So then here's my question for you, because I do think we have a clip, and Ro Khanna sort of said this too, and we can play that for a second. But like, where is the line between like Gavin Newsom courting the manosphere, trying to find the middle there, and like more populist Democrats trying to find the middle with a bunch of anti-Semites who supported January 6th? Do you know what I'm saying? Is like, I think that's sort of where I'm skating the line there. And like, I don't know, everybody was up in arms, not everybody, but a lot of people were up in arms with like Kamala Harris and Liz Cheney campaigning together. And I'm like, I think that I have a lot more in common with Liz Cheney than I do Marjorie Taylor Greene, like that's what the line and complication is for me. But I also want to throw out there that there's been like Democratic operatives being like, you can't work with Hasan Piker. That's been like a renewed thing.
Wait, why is that?
Why is that? That's a great question. I think it's stupid. And I disagree with a ton of what Hasan Piker says. I think that, like I was listening to on the Bulwark, they were talking about this. And one of the things I like about the Bulwark is I disagree with them often. And so like, it feels good to have somebody that I'm like, I respect you as like a thinker and a talker, and I disagree with you. And Sarah Longwell said, well, he's anti-democratic. Not like Democratic Party, but like democracy. Like
he's anti-democracy.
He's anti-democracy. And to that end, she was like, anybody's allowed in the coalition as long as what they deeply believe in is preserving American democracy. And so like, I thought that was an interesting take. I disagree though. I went this weekend and I listened to an interview with Hasan Piker, and I was like, I don't think he is. I think he's a streamer who sometimes says things that are incendiary because they build his audience, and sometimes I find him distasteful. But I don't think he's anti-democracy. So I don't know. I think like,
I mean, what does that even mean? That's so subjective. Anti-democracy is subjective in many ways.
Well, I think, okay, here's where I don't. So like, like I'm on leftist TikTok all the time, and there's a lot of leftist TikTok. And if you read Karl Marx, for example, like he believes elections are a thing of the bourgeois. And if you go far enough left, like in Cuba or the USSR, the idea is that like everything is shared and therefore there are no elections, right? And so like that is anti-democracy, and that's why I swing back to the center when it goes that too far left. And
but
so I think
Hasan Piker skew that far left?
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, I don't think so. I think he represents in the mind of people that he skews that far left, but like, I don't know, like I went to go listen to him talk to the Pod Save Bros because I was curious, you know what I mean? Like he said, like, I've never sat down and like watched a full Hasan Piker stream, and I see clips of him, and some of the clips I'm like, that's distasteful, that's anti-Semitic, that's this, that, and the other. But when I sit down and hear him interviewed, I'm like, I actually don't necessarily think that that's true. I think that he, sometimes
Here's what I think.
Yeah, tell me.
I think one of the biggest problems with the Democratic Party that the Republicans actually get right is we're always searching for the one person who's gonna save us. Because Joe Rogan is not like, I don't think he explicitly is the MAGA voice. He's not. He's really not. And he keeps proving it. And so one of the things that I hate, and I'm so sick of this fucking discourse, is like, ooh, Hasan, yes or no? How about Hasan sometimes?
Yes.
How about Hasan for certain things at certain times? And instead, it's like, we're either going to bet the house on him or we're not. And guess what?
So
it's only men. It's only men that they do that with. Okay.
Only men.
So it annoys me. It's this all or nothing Democratic Party mentality that I saw happen with Swalwell when I was saying, just people here and there. This wasn't about the allegations. I was saying, I don't know if I want to vote for him. You better. He's the only option we have. Okay.
Oh, so how many times have we been told that about Gavin Newsom already?
Right. Already. And we're years away. Okay. Years away. So with Hasan, and this is no disrespect to Hasan, because I don't even know that Hasan wants this.
I don't think so.
Stop. Like, you guys are the ones trying to say, well, should he be everything or should he be nothing? How about he's just something? And another thing you can have is the Moment Live. It's a great show where, of course, I don't know. So that's how I feel about Hasan. I'm like,
yeah, I think you're totally right. And I think, I think the question is more like, where does the Democratic Party see itself in 2026 and beyond? And I agree.
It can't just be Hasan Piker. It cannot just be Hasan Piker. And it's not because there's things that there's things I disagree with him. There's things I agree with him on. But I'm just telling you, there's a huge contingency of Democrats that are not going to be into him. And I can think of a lot of them. They're older than me. They're hard Dems, and that's not for them. So we just need a group. We need a lot of people, a lot of faces and places. Yeah.
I'm with you. Okay. Speaking of faces and places, let's talk about millennial queen, Lena Dunham. She's out with her new book, a memoir, Famesick, which I have started and have thoughts on. And it really dishes on, it's really like a behind the scenes of what this singular person was like, building Girls. So let's play a quick clip of her talking to the Las Culturistas boys about it, and then let's talk about the book.
To me, we think the most important moment of anything's life is when it first comes out. But actually, you don't know the role that anything plays until it's been in the world for a long time.
Right.
Like when we were making Girls, there was so much sort of feedback, probably more, we had more people reviewing it than watched it. Honestly.
I believe this, and I agree.
Yeah. And I feel like that is key to the book, is like, and key to Lena Dunham as a person is like, you made the point, is like, she's so polarizing, even when we were watching her as a fan. So it's the 10-year anniversary, I think, of like the end of the show. And like, it was such a different era. I've never gone back and rewatched it because as much as I loved it, like, it's almost like it's so real to me. Like, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to go back and rewatch a version of my 20s in Brooklyn, like struggling. Molly McAleer, our friend, always accuses me of being a Marnie. And my friend said to me, I would never say that to your face. So there's that. And then,
you know, it's funny because I was thinking about Lena Dunham yesterday while I was sitting in Boston Common, just thinking about Lena Dunham. And I thought, like, you know what? Lena Dunham is the, like, sure, make fun of the girl who took a risk. Make fun of the girl who did something creatively. Like, that actually is it. Because I think a lot of criticism of Lena Dunham comes from the fact that people wish that they, like, actually sat down, wrote the fucking thing, 100%. Did the fucking thing, made the fucking thing. Yep. And like, it's not even like, oh, then she got all these opportunities. No, like, she was just writing, and that's how she got discovered. And she is like, she to me is the good definition of get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
It seems like nobody wants to work today. You know, it was really interesting. So I'm about a quarter of the way through the book, full disclosure. And part of what's delightful about it is she was part of this like world of people that are now like indie darlings who are in the mainstream. So she had a little office with the Safdie brothers that she met like by chance going to like South by Southwest or something. She was pals with Greta Gerwig. Like, they really were just like New York kids trying to figure out the art world. And then she makes this movie, Tiny Furniture. Did you ever see Tiny Furniture?
No.
Oh, Tiny Furniture is actually really great. She premieres it at South by Southwest, and then it becomes,
yes, I do know this. Yes.
And that's really what kicked off Girls. And then, you know, it just like is fascinating. It's like the era of the personal essay, and she really made Girls. Girls really is a personal essay in a lot of ways when you read it, because, you know, in the book she explains how she was having this sort of like affair with this slightly older man who basically, the way she describes it, is like exactly how we see the character Adam and Hannah on the show. Like, it is almost verbatim. And then Adam Driver comes in and is like very much himself. Like, there's been a lot in the media about like, there's allegations against him. But like, this is my hot take, and cancel me if you want to. It's like, I actually don't think he came off that bad. Like, I don't even think Lena Dunham was writing him to be like, look at how awful he was in the background. I think she like has this like weird respect for him, and like, yeah, he's like an uncomfortable person, but he's almost exactly portrayed in the book as a real person as the character Adam on the show. And so the whole thing is just so like personal essay 2010.
Hot take. The least interesting thing about Girls is Adam Driver.
Yes. Well, actually, can I say, she says this, she goes through and she talks all about the casting and how challenging it was to cast all of the girls. And she said, you know, interestingly, when it came to cast the guys, it was really easy because they were sort of like incidental characters. Like, they didn't really matter as much. And I was delighted by that in a lot of ways, to be like, yeah, this really was, like, I really do think Lena, for better or for worse, is like a special feminist character in the culture. Like, she did do something unique, you know?
Yeah. Somebody asked, is she polarizing because of her aesthetic or her talent? And I think that the aesthetic is the cop out, but the talent, if you scratch the surface with most people, and like thinking about the like discourse on the discourse, I think a lot of the discourse on the discourse is rooted in jealousy. Like that is where I see it coming in. So the one thing that I will say, I was watching her on a clip with Jenna Bush Hager, and one of the things that I heard her say that really like resonated with me is, you know, she was like, during the show on blogs and things like that, there were so many comments that were made about my looks, my weight, my what, you know, all this kind of stuff. And she was like, it's fine for me now, like I've processed whatever, but the fact that those things exist out there and other people find the show and then they see those comments, like that's what hurts me. And I feel the same way about like when people come on and like just like tear me apart for my looks on social media. Like I'm like, I don't really care, but like I don't want other young women to see those comments and to think like, oh, her body is not okay, so maybe my body's not okay, or her, you know, like that's what that culture really creates. So it's like you're not often doing harm to the famous person, but you are doing harm to the people who consume it. Yeah. And that's actually more dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I will be finishing the book. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying like going back to that time period. And I think just like to tie it up is like, I think part of the jealousy and part of what she talks about in the book is like, it's so real. All she did really was very like capture a moment in time. And that's really challenging, right? But I think it's easy to look at it from the outside and be like, well, I could have done that. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't. So, you know, that's that. You know who's doing things? Our guest.
Yes, who?
Our guest today, who like, people were really excited about this. As I told people, they were like, oh, I love her. And so this is a rising star to watch. We have today with us Congresswoman Lauren Underwood. She serves Illinois' 14th Congressional District. She's the first woman, the first person of color, and the first millennial to represent her community in Congress, which is always like, it always blows my mind that we're still at those types of firsts. She's also a registered nurse, the co-founder and co-chair of the Black Maternal Health Caucus, which addresses America's Black maternal health crisis in Congress and advances policy solutions to improve maternal health outcomes. We're going to talk about it with her now. Representative Lauren Underwood, do we have you in the... Hello? Oh, we can't hear you.
Or we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But we can see you.
Hello. In the meantime, oh, there we go.
Okay. Hi, it's so nice to see you.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us, Representative Underwood.
Thank you.
So we have a lot that we want to talk to you about today. There is like, there's things happening, but we wanted to start with Congress had a rough week this week. It was a rough week for Congress. Representative Eric Swalwell and Representative Tony Gonzalez were forced to resign because of their abuses and assaults of young women on their staff, no less. So I think it's resurfaced a lot of Me Too type questions and the pervasive culture of powerful men, not just in Congress, but certainly in Congress, assaulting, using their power against women. And so if there's anybody that I trust to be working against this in Congress, it's a woman like you. So Representative Lauren Underwood, is there any, like, what's going on there? Is there any conversation about how to stem this culture? Oh, we lost you again. We do it live. Okay. This is what, we do it live. This is what we do. So it's okay.
We'll get there.
Hello.
Oh.
Here we go.
Okay. So listen, friends. Hi, thank you for having me. Really delighted to be here with you today. This is an issue that we have been aware of, working on, trying to address for a number of years. When I was first elected, the first thing I ever got passed in the House was a ban on members of Congress from dating, sleeping with committee staff, because that somehow was not against congressional rules, right? So, you know, in a workplace where we don't have an HR and we don't have that member is supposed to be litigating any kind of personnel matters or malpractice within their office, you can see how when that member, you know, is violent, is a sexual predator, has a penchant for breaking the rules, accountability gets to be difficult and slow. And so if anything, I see this moment where we have 4 members who are undergoing an ethics investigation. We had 2 resign this week, 2 more whose, you know, ethical challenges will be resolved hopefully very shortly. I see this as progress in that they were held accountable. The facts came out. and they could not defend them, and these guys resigned. It's tragic what happened. Just the idea that, we served with an alleged rapist.
Right.
Yeah. It must be uncomfortable for you too, personally, to be
absolutely.
Like, ugh, God. Yeah.
I know these people for real. Right. They're my coworkers. You know what I mean? It's not like somebody that, we may have just heard of. No. And so, I hope that any staff person feels comfortable raising their hand and reporting mistreatment. I hope that this shows that the American people will not stand by and excuse this violent, predatory behavior.
One of the things that has come out of this is they used to be very, very happy to tell you that they were best friends, Senator Ruben Gallego and Representative Eric Swalwell. Mm-hmm. I've never seen two acquaintances ride camels shirtless together. But one of the things that, is now sort of coming to light is, well, what did Senator Gallego know? Mm-hmm. If Senator Gallego knew things about Representative Swalwell in regards to the, acts of violence that he committed or things that were being brought to the attention, because we had on Mrs. Frazzled the other day, mm-hmm. She's telling us 2016, 2019 CNN investigations into this man. So if Senator Gallego knew things, what kind of accountability do you think he should be held to?
Well, for sure they're best friends. Okay. So people find their real life best friends, and it's really nice to see. And it's very well known. And I'm sure he's devastated, and I think that there's a little bit of a difference between people who knew information and people who participated, who covered up, who, were an accessory. Mm-hmm. And so I think that, these questions are all appropriate. I have been pleased that Senator Gallego is being forthcoming and engaging with the media. And I think that all the facts will come to light with respect to Eric Swalwell's conduct, the allegations that these brave women are bringing forward, and that, additional scrutiny is coming for all of us. And so I think, I just think knowledge, there's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of, so-and-so is a bad boy. They like to date around. They like to hang out. We say casually, so-and-so's outside. There's a lot of people who are outside kicking it. Okay. There's a lot of people who are single and everybody knows it. Yep. And there's a lot of casual behavior. What is inexcusable is sexual assault. Inexcusable is that power dynamic with your staff. Right. And then, participating in that unlawful activity. I think many people were aware of the rumors.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. I think that's what's upsetting women everywhere is we're we know that we know that how are we not holding at the highest level these people accountable?
And you know what he told me? When I met with him on a small creator call, I haven't told anybody this. When I met with him on a small creator call, the thing that I asked him about is my special interest, which is that I believe private equity needs more guardrails on it. Representative Underwood can come back another time. We can talk about that in hospitals. But I said, hey, I think private equity needs, and he was like, I'd love to meet with you about that. I'd love to meet with you about that. And I was like, I told you guys, and I made another video, something about him. He gave us his personal cell phone number in that small little group. And I thought that's sketchy. And also saying, oh yeah, I was just like, red flag. And it just, there's something about him. And, we as women are trained to push that down because it's take every opportunity you can get. But, and now, unfortunately, there's so many stories like this. And we can't fault women who were told hey, he's I'll help you. I'll help get you, I'll help introduce you to people. Taking his power and using it like that. So disgusting.
I will just tell you that there's many people who just aren't good people. There's many people who seek additional political or professional opportunities that I personally would not recommend them for. There is not really, I would say, a culture where it's constructive for me to just talk about my opinions of people, right? And so I do think that there's a little bit of some of that. Like some things are just known, but there's no reason to share it. And I'm not saying that everyone knew that, you know, there's sexual assault and someone's dating their staff and, you know, whatever. But like this stuff on Tony Gonzalez, his local newspaper reported on this 6 months ago.
Oh my gosh.
This stuff on Corey Mills. There's this guy on Twitter, Roger Solander or something, who's been investigating Corey Mills for over a year and reporting on it. None of this stuff is just not new. And so, you know, whether or not people are paying attention, whether it gets amplified, whether, you know, there's an actual investigation, that's different than like knowledge and knowledge in the public sphere. And that's where I think I would like to see this conversation kind of progress, because it's, you know, is the bar criminality?
That's such a good.
Or is it just you're a shady person and you shouldn't be a leader?
That's right. Yeah.
Speaking of which, that's a great transition for who I want to talk about next. He's probably done something criminal, allegedly, in my opinion. Yesterday, Secretary of Health and Human Services, RFK Jr., testified in front of the Congress Ways and Means Committee. It was explosive at times. We want to play a quick clip. Well, it is a trip, a quick clip from your colleague, Representative Terry Sewell. I think we have that clip.
Every Black kid is now just standardly put on Adderall, SSRI, benzos, which are known to induce violence, and that those children are going to have to go somewhere to get reparented. There is a lot to unpack.
There is a lot to unpack.
There's a lot to unpack there. I guess
here's the question.
Quite the answer. He's very defensive in the answer, and aggressively so. Sorry, go ahead, Meredith.
No, I mean, you know, I'm sure you've seen moments of this testimony. And I think our question is, you know, when you hear this as a registered nurse, what is your reaction?
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is the biggest threat to public health in this country, without a doubt. And that was on full display throughout his congressional testimony, starting with his confirmation hearings. He does not hide the fact that he is a danger to the American people, that he is actively spewing misinformation, and he traffics in the anti-Black, white nationalist, you know, ideology, as so many others in the Trump administration. Like, they don't hide it. And so, you know, for me, is it outrageous? Yes, but he's been consistent. This is who he is, and that has allowed him to be elevated to being the senior most policymaker in charge of healthcare and so many social initiatives in our country. And that is just, you know, he should not be in office. He is unfit and unqualified to serve, and he should certainly be removed.
Do you know, we saw Pam Bondi, Kristi Noem, after fiery hearings, get the chopping block from Trump. Is there any chance that RFK is on that list, or do you think it's just like reserved for white women who throw themselves at the mercy of the Trump administration?
Oh no. Yesterday we had a hearing at Homeland Appropriations. I, questioned the ICE director, and he submitted his resignation last night. You know what I'm saying? Like there is always an opportunity. Yes, there's always an opportunity for accountability, the bright light of transparency, and calling these folks to task for the crimes and the harms that they have inflicted on the American people. And, Robert Kennedy is very much a liability, and I don't think he will be in office through the end of the administration.
Yes. Was there a question or moment yesterday in that testimony that you were a part of that you were like, oh, he's out of here? Like, did he have a moment? Did he say something?
Well, the ICE director didn't know how many deaths that they had in custody. And he admitted that there was no policy or guidance put out to ICE officers or their contracted vendors, these private prison operators that run the detention centers, reiterating how unacceptable any death in custody is. And so if you don't have a policy that says we want zero, and then you're also not holding the folks accountable when they are being charged with homicide, killing people under their care and protection, then I don't know how you expect to change what's happening, the outcomes. And so he was like, oh, we're having more deaths on record because we have more detainees. And I was like, sir, you have more money, you have more officers. Like, what are we talking about? That's not an excuse. It's about poor leadership and a culture that accepts these deaths as routine. And that right there is un-American.
Good for you.
I can't believe he did not know. I know it. It's 16 people have died in ICE custody since the beginning of 2026. We have people dying from, there's a Haitian man from Massachusetts who died of a toothache because it got infected. So it's absolutely
shameful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Demas is his name. I want to make sure I say his name, Emmanuel Demas. But yeah, I think that's, thank you. Thank you.
Speaking of thank you, before we let you go, one of your passion projects is the MOMNIBUS bill.
Yes.
And I want to talk about that really quick. So I'm going to explain it, but you tell me where I'm getting it wrong, where I'm missing pieces. It's legislation geared at ending the maternal health crisis in America, which disproportionately and seriously affects Black women. It was co-sponsored, I believe, by Senator Cory Booker. My question, first of all, did I get that right? What am I missing?
Yes. Cory Booker is the lead sponsor in the Senate. I'm the lead sponsor in the House. It's 14 evidence-based bills designed to address every clinical and non-clinical factor leading to preventable maternal death in this country.
So my question is, sounds right to me. Sounds like something that should have bipartisan support.
Yeah.
Black mothers should not be dying when they give birth. And I see stories all the time, by the way, of this happening. Yeah. It is. What are the odds that this actually passes once Democrats hopefully take back the House and possibly the Senate? Do you have faith that this is actually going to be taken up?
Well, we're not waiting to be in the majority. So we just reintroduced the MOMNIBUS last month, and we have 204 co-sponsors. Now, you ladies know that we only need 218 votes to get this across the finish line. So we're closing in on our final dozen. We just need 12, 14 more members to sign on to this bill. And then we can start trying to force a vote on the floor of the House. That's within our reach this year. We can get it done. The sense of urgency I feel is so acute because we've seen COVID shoot up maternal deaths, right? The Dobbs decision, these partial and total abortion bans, right? More moms are dying as a result of this policy choice. And now with the big ugly bill and Trump cutting Medicaid, we know more moms are dying in all of our zip codes all across the country. And what I'm saying is no more. We can end this. 80% of the deaths are preventable. It's not like we're trying to find a cure, some cancer moonshot. No. We can get this across the finish line. So we need your help. We need the help of your audience to call their representative, Democrat or Republican, and ask them to co-sponsor the MOMNIBUS.
We'll put the resources into our newsletter that we send out.
One of the things we were talking about at the top before you came in was where Democrats and Republicans might be coming together. We've heard Ilhan Omar talk about possibly working with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And are there people in Congress on the other side of the aisle who you think would sign on to the MOMNIBUS bill?
4 of the 14 bills are bipartisan.
Wow.
So we start there. But we need a Republican co-sponsor for the whole package in order for the whole package to get across the finish line, right? So what I say to folks when they come to me, and it's often for really deeply personal reasons, they've had something happen in their communities or in their family that makes them understand. And so we try to find a place for them to feel comfortable plugging in. I'm not going to impose my belief, but I want them to understand this is a safe space just to take action and work together to solve this big existential crisis.
So do you need a senator specifically from the other side, or is it?
I need a Republican senator and I need a Republican congressman.
Okay.
So
is there anybody that's likely to do that? Anybody that you're looking at there that you think might, Thomas Massey joined in the Epstein file fight? Are there people? I'm just genuinely curious, if there's people on the right that might be interested in this type of thing.
We're not seeing an ideologic thread. It's more people who maybe do work with moms and babies in other spaces, right? So maybe they're really animated around infant mortality, or maybe they're really animated around, some kind of other very specific disease issue. And then this is a plug-in. One of our Republican co-sponsors does a lot of work with nurses. And so then, it's an easier entree point. And so what we try to do is just have conversations and create a low stakes, comfortable environment. Not that we will vote you out if you don't co-sponsor. That's not what it is. but just, a place for conversation and dialogue and seeing where we can work together.
Well, Representative Underwood, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are grateful for you. Next time you come back, I did do my research. First of all, you went to high school with some really interesting people in your class.
True.
I was fascinated. Okay.
Yes.
And then next time you come back, we are going to talk about how you went all the way in Girl Scouts.
Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't know that was going to be a standout.
Oh, you gotta be a standout for that. So next time you come back,
on my honor, I will try.
That's right. Let's go. As they say, clock it.
Thank you so much for being here, Representative Underwood. Bye.
Wow,
she's awesome.
What a great conversation. I'm making my list of people who I think should vote or should co-sponsor. Dr. Bill Cassidy. I've yelled at you on here before. Josh Hawley. Because
Josh Hawley,
claim to care a lot about healthcare, and you voted in that way. Susan Collins.
She has concerns.
With what?
About everything. I just Susan Collins always the only thing she ever does is have concerns.
Well, but she didn't go with the with healthcare, right? She went
No. You're right.
So anyway, I'm just thinking of names.
Maybe even a Nancy Mace, who for all of her faults, of which she has many, she does have a passion about women,
Yeah. Well, that was a great conversation. Let me ask you, what's having a moment for you, Rebecca?
Well, I think that Representative Laura Underwood, I'm obsessed with nurses and doctors. I'm obsessed with the Pitt. This week I got to go to the LA Fashion Awards, the Fashion Awards LA. It was a random thing, and Dr. Robby was there. And I got to see Dr. Robby, and it was
who's Dr. Robby? Because I don't watch anything set in a hospital.
The Pitt. Yeah, understandably so. Dr. Robby is Noah Wiley plays Dr. Rabinovich. So he's the main character, and he's gruff and tender and complicated and always under control. He's a very lovable main character in a very 90s procedural way. And he was at the LA Fashion Awards, seemed lovely. We smiled at one another. I always when you see somebody and you're they have good energy. Who knows who they really are, but he looked me in the eye and smiled, and good enough for me. And then last night was the finale of the Pitt. And I just, nurses, doctors, people in the ER are just true heroes. And so I guess nurses and doctors / the Pitt / Dr. Robby are my moment. How about you? What's having a moment?
What's having a moment for me is continuing to try to understand this Alex versus Alex drama. I really I've gotten to the point where I'm I think both of them are so mediocre.
Yeah. I think that is yes, absolutely.
That's and I hate to be a traitor to my gender, but I'm I don't think Dave is as mediocre. Dave is mediocre in some ways.
That's a hot take.
But Dave has, I'm just thinking of how Dave evolved Barstool, and Unwell is not evolving in any way.
Agreed.
So and I mean, I've been following Barstool since it was 2006, and my boyfriend would read the blog. So now we're at the point where Barstool is this entire entity, and Unwell has been around for a while now, and it doesn't I don't even know what shows are on it. And then with Alex Earl, and it's not to say that she doesn't have some talents, but it's I don't think she is the multi-hyphenate that everybody says she is.
What does she do? Literally, what does Alex Earl do? Just no,
Alex Earl. Alex Earl, I think, is a good content creator. She creates engaging content, and she's good at acting on the camera, which is now a skill. So I think they're both good enough at their niche, and then way too mediocre to be getting as much sort of they reinvented the world. I'm no,
but also didn't. Not just that, but I think this is. We were talking about this a little bit on Tuesday, but I think Alex Cooper and eventually Alex Earl, what's going to happen when they age out of being conventionally hot? You know what I mean? That's what I think part of the problem is too, is Alex Earl, what is her actual talent being hot on camera? And it's okay, that only lasts for so long. before you have to figure out what else it is you're good at. And I think that was sort of part of the problem with her podcast in the first place, is like she wasn't that great a podcast host. And I think Alex Cooper is struggling with that with herself, and she's trying to build herself as this like great businesswoman,
like more serious journalist, or
like I'm an interview, but I don't think she's doing that great a job. Like I don't think she's pulling one over. People are like, oh, I miss Gluck Gluck 900 or whatever, Alex Cooper.
Wait, how funny was Molly? We were on with Molly McAleer yesterday or the day before yesterday, and she's like, yeah, I like have a conspiracy theory that Sophia and Alex are virgins. Because the way they talk about sex, like when they were on Call Her Daddy, was so insane.
Yeah.
And I honestly was thinking about it more, and I'm like, she's not wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. Molly's hilarious. Molly McAleer.
Oh my God, Molly, we love you so much.
We love you, Molly. Even though she accuses me of being a Marnie.
Here's the thing, like, nobody is a Marnie. Only Marnie can be Marnie.
Only
like
Marnie
there are
is a
pieces
Marnie.
of all of us in everything.
Yeah.
And if anything, I'm definitely a Hannah.
Oh, you're definitely a Hannah.
Yeah. And like, honestly, like I was talking to my sisters because I hadn't eaten like the day that I traveled. Because when you come from west to east, it's like it totally fucks with you because you miss like whatever.
Totally.
And so I was like, I haven't eaten like all day. Like I'm just like, oh, and like I literally sounded like when she's like, I'm just looking a little bit frail right now. I was like, I didn't mean to.
It is a great show. I'm gonna finish the book. I really love the book, and I love Lena Dunham. And I love Hannah Horvath, and I love you.
We really want to get Hannah. We really want to get Lena on the show. So Lena, like, I feel like we would have a great time. You know who I was thinking, like, is basically who Alex Cooper wants to be. I was actually thinking about this, and this is what I'll leave you with.
Tell me.
Monica Lewinsky is who Alex Cooper wants to be.
Say more.
Like in the interview world.
Yeah.
Like her podcast, she asks more like introspective questions. She has on a lot of the same like big names, etc., but they're having a much more meaningful conversation, but it's still like it's Monica Lewinsky, right? Like she's still like, not a character, but like she's an entity in herself, whereas like a lot of journalists like they don't want to be the entity. So Monica gets to be the entity. She gets to have the like serious, and she's older than Alex, and she looks incredible, and she's incredible. Like aging and growing and
she's also someone we need to get on the show.
Oh, Monica. I'd love to have her on.
I know.
What if we just did an episode where we just like did shout outs to who we want to have on? Like, do you think that would get people on?
That's not a bad idea.
Pope Leo. We'd love to have you on.
Leo's brother.
This is like in Parks and Rec when he's like asking people to join his venture, and he's like, Donna, I'm talking to you. Like, come on the show. Jessica Alba, Cash Warren, Prince Harry. We could get him. No, I'm kidding. All right, you guys.
Prince Harry.
Spicy.
Bye, guys.
Bye.